The 10 most interesting facts about Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Did you know that Marcus Aurelius was both a philosopher and a warrior? Discover the 10 most interesting facts about his life, from his love for knowledge to his joint reign and tragic death. If you want to learn more about this fascinating emperor, don't miss it. Number 10. His full name. When young Marcus Annus Verus walked the streets of Rome, few could have imagined that one day he would bear one of the most distinguished names in the empire. Raised in a wealthy and aristocratic family, his life took a turn when he was adopted by Emperor Antoninus Pius, who saw him as the ideal successor. It was then that he adopted the name Marcus Aurelius Antoninus Augustus, reflecting both his new position and the deep admiration and respect he felt for his adoptive father. This name change not only meant a new title but also marked the beginning of a life dedicated to the service of the empire and philosophy. Marcus Aurelius, the last of the 5 good emperors, would become a just leader and a profound thinker, known for his bravery on the battlefield as well as his philosophical reflections. His name, as majestic as his legacy, would endure in history as a symbol of virtue and wisdom. Number 9. A lover of knowledge. From his childhood, Marcus Aurelius showed an insatiable thirst for knowledge. Raised in a luxurious and educated environment, he was guided by expert tutors who instilled in him a love for philosophy and the arts. Young Marcus immersed himself in the study of rhetoric, grammar, and Stoic philosophy, disciplines that shaped his character and worldview. Even in his youth, it was said that he preferred the company of books and philosophers to the opulent life his status offered him. As he grew, his love for knowledge did not wane. During his reign as emperor, Marcus Aurelius maintained his passion for learning, even amidst the responsibilities of the throne and military campaigns. His personal reflections, which would become the famous Meditations, were a testament to his deep introspection and commitment to philosophy. Through his life and writings, Marcus Aurelius demonstrated that even at the pinnacle of power, knowledge and wisdom were the true treasures. Number 8. The just emperor. As Marcus Aurelius assumed power, he faced countless challenges that tested his sense of justice. During his reign, the emperor strove to improve the lives of his subjects, showing a strong commitment to fairness and morality. His leadership was marked by the implementation of social reforms aimed at alleviating the burdens of the most needy. Marcus Aurelius deeply cared about justice and the well-being of his people, enacting laws to protect orphans and defend vulnerable individuals from abuse and exploitation. Even in times of war, Marcus Aurelius showed his integrity by insisting on fair treatment for his enemies and prisoners of war. His commitment to justice was reflected in every aspect of his government, from the administration of justice to the distribution of food during famines. Through his actions and decisions, the emperor earned the title of the Just Emperor, demonstrating that compassion and equity were fundamental values for a truly noble leader. Number 7. The last of the 5 good emperors. As the sun set on the golden era of the Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius emerged as the last of the 5 good emperors. This illustrious series of rulers, which began with Nerva and continued with Trajan, Hadrian, and Antoninus Pius, brought about a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity. Under his leadership, the empire flourished, and Marcus Aurelius strove to continue this legacy. Although he faced challenges, his integrity and wisdom distinguished him as an exemplary leader, committed to justice and the well-being of his subjects. However, with his death, the splendor of the empire began to fade. Marcus Aurelius left the throne to his son Commodus, whose lack of leadership marked the beginning of decline. Despite this, the legacy of Marcus Aurelius endured, and his life and reign became a beacon of rectitude and wisdom in Roman history. As the last of the 5 good emperors, his figure remains a symbol of the greatness that the Roman Empire once achieved and the values that should guide any leader. Number 6. Joint reign. When Marcus Aurelius ascended the throne, he did so alongside his adoptive brother, Lucius Verus. Together, they shared power in a joint reign, an unusual practice in the Roman Empire. Lucius Verus and Marcus Aurelius were adopted by Emperor Antoninus Pius, and upon their adoptive father's death, both brothers were named emperors. While Marcus Aurelius took the lead role and focused on administration and philosophy, Lucius Verus showed a greater inclination towards luxury and enjoyment, though he also played a significant role in military campaigns. The joint reign of the two brothers was characterized by cooperation and unity. Although their lifestyles and personalities differed, Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus managed to maintain the stability of the empire. During this time, they faced challenges such as the war against the Parthians and the Antonine Plague, and together they demonstrated that shared leadership was possible when based on trust and mutual loyalty. Their joint reign marked a unique moment in Roman history, highlighting the strength that can be found in collaboration and diversity of thought. Number 5. Worried father. Marco Aurelio, despite being a dedicated emperor and a reflective philosopher, had another side, that of a worried father. His son Commodus, whom he had designated as his successor, proved to be a problematic and cruel ruler. Marco Aurelio, as a father and emperor, had hoped that his son would continue his legacy of justice and wisdom, but Commodus had other ideas. From a young age, Commodus showed little interest in the philosophy and imperial responsibilities that his father valued so much, deeply troubling Marco Aurelio. During his reign, Marco Aurelio strove to prepare Commodus for leadership, but as he grew older, he realized that his son did not share his sense of duty and justice. This concern weighed heavily on the emperor's heart, who often reflected on the challenge of raising a son in an environment of power and temptations. Despite his efforts, Commodus's reign was a shadow of his father's, marking the beginning of the decline of the Roman Empire. The story of Marco Aurelio and Commodus is a reminder that, even for a philosopher-emperor, the challenges of parenthood can be as complex and difficult as those of governance. Number 4. A tragic death. The end of Marco Aurelio's reign was marked by tragedy. While fighting invaders on the borders of the Roman Empire, the philosopher-emperor fell ill. In the year 180 AD, during a military campaign near the Danube River, Marco Aurelio succumbed to the plague, a disease that had devastated the empire during his reign. Surrounded by his troops and far from the luxury of Rome, the emperor died, leaving behind a legacy of wisdom and virtue that would be remembered for generations. The death of Marco Aurelio not only marked the end of his life but also the end of an era. His passing brought an end to the Pax Romana, a period of over 2 centuries of relative peace and stability in the Roman Empire. With his son Commodus as his successor, the empire entered a period of decline and turmoil. The death of Marco Aurelio was a sad and significant moment in Roman history, as it represented the closure of a glorious chapter and the beginning of an era of challenges and decadence. Number 3. Warrior and general. Although Marco Aurelio is best known as the philosopher-emperor, he also proved to be a competent warrior and general. During his reign, he spent much of his time on the battlefield, leading the Roman legions against the Germanic and Sarmatian tribes threatening the empire's borders. Despite his contemplative nature, Marco Aurelio donned armor and courageously led his soldiers, facing difficult conditions and demonstrating a tenacity and skill that surprised many of his contemporaries. The emperor fought in the Marcomannic Wars, a prolonged conflict that spanned much of his reign. In the heat of battle, Marco Aurelio showed his strategic ability and his capacity to inspire his men. Despite the hardships of war and the diseases that ravaged his army, he maintained his commitment to duty in the defense of the empire. Marco Aurelio's military campaigns, though arduous and exhausting, highlighted his dedication to Rome and his role not only as a philosopher but also as a brave and determined warrior. Number 2. A Stoic emperor. Marco Aurelio, known as the Philosopher Emperor, was a devoted follower of Stoicism, a philosophical school that emphasizes logic, self-control, and virtue as a path to true happiness. During his reign, Marco Aurelio strove to apply these principles in his life and governance, facing the trials and tribulations of power with a calmness and serenity that inspired his contemporaries. His Meditations, a series of personal reflections and thoughts, reveal his dedication to Stoic philosophy and his constant effort to be a better leader and human being. Despite the challenges he faced as emperor, including wars, betrayals, and a devastating pandemic, Marco Aurelio maintained his commitment to Stoic principles. He believed in the value of self-control and reason, and strove to rule with justice and wisdom. His life and writings are a testament to his conviction that true strength comes from discipline and clarity of thought, and his legacy as a Stoic emperor remains an example of leadership and virtue for all generations. Number 1. The Philosopher on the Throne. Although he ruled one of the most powerful empires in history, Marco Aurelio stood out for being a philosopher on the throne. He was often seen more interested in introspection and reflection than in political intrigues or military conquests. During his campaigns, Marco Aurelio found solace and clarity in Stoic philosophy, which was reflected in his famous work, Meditations. This book, written as a personal diary, offers a profound insight into the mind of an emperor who struggled to maintain his humanity and morality amidst the challenges of power. Under his command, Marco Aurelio faced multiple wars and crises, but always maintained his sense of duty and philosophical perspective. Even in the midst of difficulties, he was guided by principles of self-control, virtue, and reason, fundamental characteristics of Stoicism. Throughout his reign, Marco Aurelio demonstrated that philosophy and leadership could coexist, becoming a model of integrity and wisdom for future generations. As a true philosopher on the throne, he left a legacy that transcended his time, showing that power can go hand in hand with reflection and a love for knowledge.